Hi, I'm Jen Peters. Today we're going to be speaking in detail about how we can stop self-abandoning. What things can we start doing today that will stop us from continuing to self-abandon? There's a number of people, like a large component of members in our community that do engage in self-abandonment, and we often do in a myriad of different ways. So self-abandonment, it stems from an unhealed abandonment wound and a set of beliefs that we formed in childhood that we have to self-abandon in some way or another in order to receive love or acceptance, security, safety, validation. We effectively learn that we can't be ourselves. If we're ourselves, we're going to be rejected in some way. Therefore, we have to become what is expected of us. Self-abandonment comes in many different forms, things like people-pleasing, overgiving, overdoing, caretaking, fixing, saying yes when you want to say no, minimizing really toxic behavior, or kind of giving people second, third, fourth, fifth chances when what they've done is really, really hurt you. So these are all forms of self-abandonment. I have more listed below. Feel free to check them out. You'll also notice that many of these patterns are actually celebrated and encouraged in our society. They're the hallmarks of being a good person or a nice person, when the truth is all of these behaviors, they're causing us to abandon our own needs in order to serve the needs of others. When we self-abandon, the truth is we actually move further away from ourselves. We move further away from our own empowerment, from our truth, and it actually makes us really easy to manipulate and control, which obviously is never good. So what do we do? So here are a few suggestions for you. Now, just please know that this is a journey. This is not going to happen tomorrow. Like, this is a number of choices and steps that we need to take in order to start moving into a more solid and powerful position where we don't self-abandon, okay? But we need to start somewhere, and nothing's going to change until we actually start actively creating change within ourselves. So the first thing that we need to look at is we need to dissolve the core emotional abandonment wound that you're carrying, because if we self-abandon, we have an abandonment wound, and we're effectively reinforcing it by continuing to abandon ourselves. That's also why we attract people into our life who abandon us as well. Okay, so we need to dissolve this emotional abandonment wound and the rejection wound. Now, I've got free guided healings here on YouTube, so please do check them out. There is a couple there for the abandonment wound, and there's also one for rejection. So please check those out, take yourself through those several times until there's no more emotional charge, then you know it's dissolved. The next thing we need to look at doing is we need to get clear on how we actually self-abandon. So I've left a list below. Take a peek at that. Have a look at what patterns jump out at you, which ones resonate with you, because that gives you a really good clue about where you are probably self-abandoning unconsciously. The next thing we need to do is we need to start to create boundaries that stop you from self-abandoning. Okay, so we often talk about boundaries to protect you from other people. We actually need boundaries that stop us from self-abandoning. Okay, so for example, we really want to get to a point where we're able to cultivate a really strong relationship with our own inner guidance system, because our own inner guidance system is going to tell us exactly when and where a boundary is required. And the truth is that, you know, boundaries for me are going to be potentially in a slightly different place than they might be for you and for the next person. So that's where our own inner guidance system is needed, as opposed to using our intellectual mind to work out where they should be. Once you start checking with your body, you will know absolutely, categorically, clearly, exactly where they need to be, because your body is going to tell you that's the system we need to use. So to cultivate a relationship with your inner guidance system, here's a few things that might help you in that. So number one, everything holds a vibrational frequency. It either resonates with you or it doesn't. Everything has a frequency. So people, opportunities, choices, foods, interests, responses, everything. The goal is to feel resonance in every choice that you make, in every aspect of your life, everything that you do. We're ultimately looking to feel a beautiful resonance. So resonance or alignment, it's the same thing, feels good in your body. It feels calm, like a beautiful alignment and fit. There's almost like a knowing that this feels just right. Whereas a misalignment, it feels off. It can feel heavy. It can feel, there's often a resistance to it, or a bit of well, it can be an intense dread, or just a tinge of, oh, I really don't want to do that. It just really doesn't feel good to me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. Now, a misalignment can also be, and this is where it can get a bit confusing, sometimes, because if the choice is coming from an unhealed wound, we can often have an emotional charge with it, where there might be almost like a nervous excitement. Now, that indicates that it's an unhealed wound that is driving that choice. For example, if you're made to feel not good enough, so you all of a sudden then have to, I don't know, suppress certain emotions, you're going to feel quite a strong charge to do that. There's going to be a nervousness to it. There's going to be an emotional charge to it. That's when you know it's coming from a wound and it is a misalignment, okay? Resonance and alignment is a beautiful, beautiful, seamless, harmonious fit. That's what we're looking for. So here's a little exercise for you. I would invite you to maybe think about one of the ways that you self-abandon. It might be people pleasing, or just never saying no when you want to, always saying yes when you really don't want to. I'm going to give you a moment now to think about one of the ways that you self-abandon. Good. Now, I want you to actually think about when you've done this. Just kind of run that scenario through in your mind when you've actually done this. And I want you to notice how that feels in your body when you think about that time or those times where you've self-abandoned. I want you to notice where you feel it in your body, and I want you to notice how it feels in your body. Beautiful. Now, this is a misalignment. This is what a misalignment feels like. Okay. Now, let's clear that, and let's come to, I want you to think about something that you really love doing. What's your favorite thing to do? What makes you feel really happy or free? Something that you can really lose yourself in and love doing. I'll get you to think about what that is now, and then I'll get you to just imagine being there doing it. And I want you to notice where in your body do you feel that emotional charge, and how does it feel in your body? Beautiful. Do you notice the difference between the two? One's going to feel really good and just right, like a beautiful fit, while the other one's really going to feel quite off. It's going to feel heavy. It's not going to feel good. Perfect. Well done. So what I would start to do is each day I would start creating a practice where two practices actually. One is each day, several times during the day, just check in, how's my body feeling? And just get used to noticing how your body's feeling a lot of the time. The second practice is start creating a pause before you say yes to anything and before you offer to do anything. And you're going to be in the habit of doing those things just automatically. So it's going to take a little bit of practice. Don't give yourself a hard time if you don't get it right straight away. And that's totally okay. We're learning. We're learning at the moment. So that's all good. So just get into the practice of creating a pause before you agree to do something or before you offer to do something. And start asking yourself, do I actually want to do that? Does it feel good to me to say yes to doing that? If it doesn't feel good, then the answer really needs to be no. If it feels really good and light and free and like a beautiful alignment, go for it. So that's what I want you to start doing, is to create that pause before you enter into anything with anybody, and just notice, asking yourself, how does this feel in my body? And use resonance as your guide. One other thing that you can also start to do is just when different choices come up throughout your day, just start actually asking yourself, what do I want here? Because you might be used to actually sort of saying, oh no, whatever you want, we'll do whatever you want, I'll have what you're having. Before doing that, just stop and ask yourself, even if it's in your mind, what is it? What do I want? What would make me feel really good here? Start getting a really strong sense of who you are. Because if you've been self-abandoning, you've probably lost a lot of sense of who you actually are. You'll know what everybody else likes and what their favorite things are, but you probably won't know what yours is. So just take some time to actually get to know yourself again, just by asking yourself those questions, throughout the day. What do I want here? What feels good to me? Now, do please feel free to let us know in the comments field, what ways in which you self-abandon, what do you struggle with the most? It'd be great to see as a community who struggles with what. And that way also it helps people feel not quite so alone. And it also shows me what other content we need. Hey, look, thank you so much for being here with us. And I just want to acknowledge you for doing the work. Nothing changes until we create the change within ourselves. So well done to you for actually being here and doing the work. I am sending you so much love and blessings and wishing you the most beautiful day. Mwah.